wholeness and what that actually feels like. The whole notion of wholeness is very integrated into the wellness industry at the moment. You know, we've got whole food living, we've got, you know, holistic healing, we've got this whole thing that's focusing on this concept of being whole. What that actually means is realizing that there is no separation, and that's internally as well. So there is no difference between your body and your mind. And you know, so often we sort of go, well, our mind is our thoughts and our heart is the sensations in our body, but they are still the same thing. And our mind is experienced through our whole being. And the pulsing of our heart is literally felt through our whole being as well. So we can look at wholeness and look at, you know, the separation as in, I am connected to everything. Go inside, and instead of categorizing our internal world in all these little boxes, we're letting those barriers fall down and just embracing ourselves as one, the whole of you. So instead of going, I've got a really busy mind, yes, and that's a part of you. So instead of going that I have difficulties meditating because my mind is always busy, just acknowledging this fullness of when I meditate, my mind thinks a lot. There's a lot of thinking going on when there's meditation happening. And that's the way you process. Okay, and it's the same with the emotions. And it's really interesting with the emotions because emotions are a really potent tool for where we are in regards to the human evolution right now, because we are developing our sensory system, and this is a process of being able to awaken into our totality, understanding the sensory system. We all know about our five senses and we understand about the sixth sense. But what the sensory system is really allowing the vibration of the senses within to bring forth the body wisdom of an awareness of the things that need to change, and the action, not change, awareness of the things that are creating tension in our life, so that we are aware of the actions required to bring us back to center. And that's really what humanity needs at the moment, hopefully in the next 20 years. So when we look at emotions, if we keep segregating them inside, well, I feel sad, and that sadness is here, but I'm here and I'm aware of it, but I'm not really engaging with it. If we keep separating it, we're preventing that evolving into the totality of we are. I had a really interesting post on Monday on Facebook, I don't know if you might have read it, about I just went through this emotional thing last weekend. Yeah, and it was me sharing it, and it was interesting how many PMs I got about people that I know quite dear going, oh, I'm sorry that, you know, you were sad. It's like, there's no need to be apologetic about that, because that sadness brought forth a beautiful realization, and that has allowed that center to come back. And so from the view that was happening within was that this is where my whole experience was at during the weekend, and sat with it and allowed that to shift and shape the whole process of who I am, while it was being met in a very loving way from people that were still, sadness is something that I feel, but I push it aside because it's not really me, it's just something that happens inside of me. Just breaking down these internal boxes that we have to try and make sense of who we are. Because if we keep these little internal categories and boxes and segments inside, we are still creating separation. And if we have separation within, then there's going to be separation without. Really being able to awaken into the totality where you know what your daughter's going through because you are going through it as well. And that's probably what you witnessed today, was that the guidance compliance officer was so segregated. She was in her job role, and she was letting the mind and her processes take her through that, instead of dropping into the experience of being connected to the whole sensation and the whole experience, which as a mother we are when it comes to our kids. You know, we feel everything, we experience everything through them as if it's through us, and that's why it impacts on us. Really coming into letting go of the safety nets that we have inside about how we make sense of who we are. And we're doing it in a very loving, supportive way as well, because this stuff needs to be approached with a softness. It needs to be approached with an acceptance. It needs to be approached with a real gentle self-care and self-love. Because if not, it will just become another category. There's just something about me that I need to change, so I'll put it in that box and I'll do all these things, and then all that will fall away. So we need to just let it have this sense of support and love so that we feel safe. Place our hands on the knees, palms facing up. Drop down into the base of the body, pull up through the crown of the head. Expand the ribs in 4 directions. And you want to dive into the sensations within the body. Feel maybe the aches and pains, because they're always a great sensation to start with, because they're very dominant. The sensation or the relaxation within the muscles. Keep expanding out your awareness, so not only are you aware of the aches and the pains and the relaxation, but maybe there's tingling, maybe there's pulsing, maybe there's warmth. Keep expanding out and out your awareness of your inner world. Also, while being aware of the sensations, extend it out to be aware of those thoughts, the 1,000 thoughts that drop in per blink of the eye. That's the job of the mind. You're not meant to stop that. Keep expanding out the awareness. You're aware of the pain, you're aware of the relaxation, you're aware of the tingling, the pulsing, you're aware of the mind and all the thoughts that are coming in. Can you also be aware of the emotions, the rise and the fall of the breath, aware of all of this at the same time. And then keep expanding out. Sensing the awareness of the pulsing, the dancing, the vibrations of the cells within. And continue expanding into your wholeness, sensing all at the same time, the pains, the aches, the softness, the relaxation, the tingling, the rise and fall of the breath, the busyness of the mind, the vibration of the pulsing of the cells, the rise and the fall of the breath. And then see if you can also sense within the cells the space of nothingness, that point of stillness within. All of this happening all at the same time within the wholeness of who you are. Then inhale, suspend the breath while the intention is set. May I release the internal limitations I put on myself, embracing the wholeness of all that I am, deepening the understanding of the interconnection and interplay of my internal world. May this strengthen the awareness of who I am, enhancing my ability to be authentically me. May this happen more than ever before for the benefit of all.